Welcome back to BS3 Network's coverage of Super Bowl 58 here live from Radio Row in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have here today special guest Craig Stover of Network Utopia. He is the founder and COO of Network Utopia. Craig, how are you doing?
Thanks for being here. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about Network Utopia and what that is all about, sir.
Yeah, Network Utopia is a networking streaming service that we built. We specialize in youth sports, right? So we want to stream those players who don't get that big highlights or big different things. So we stream different basketball tournaments, soccer tournaments, different tournaments, and then we actually have a piece of proprietary software called Athletic SOS. With Athletic SOS, it helps kids in the college. Basically, if we have a GPA or estimated ACT or SAT, we can do a nationwide search of Division I, Division II, Division III, NAI schools, and national JCs within seconds. But then we find what schools that they academically qualify for, and then we make sure that we have video, and streaming is a big part of video. So we did a big tournament here in Las Vegas, the Freddie Banks Classic called HBCU Jam, and we actually streamed all the games back to the HBCUs. So those coaches and those assistant coaches know those kids exist, right? And so by letting those kids exist and letting kids across the country exist, it really helps them find a way and find the right fit at getting into college.
Right. Okay. Well, a couple of things on that. Because see, back in the day, I'm coming from the perspective of an old coach and an old director and VP and president of the North Texas Football Conference and the Garland Youth Athletic Association, where we have multiple teams that compete on the field or court, and cheerleading squads and things of that nature, right? Across the DFW area.
Right.
And one of the things that we used to do with those kids and our kids was have to manually write up letters and things of that nature to be able to send tape and stuff like that into those colleges,
right?
Just so they can get a look. You may not be aware of us, and we try to combine that with the letter. So therefore, we're trying to put their best foot forward.
Yes.
There, right?
Yes.
So is that something you're trying to do? Is basically by saying I'm trying to find the best fit for that college, because you're trying to get an athlete with the college that their style or who they are may resonate more with that college.
Yeah, most definitely. And we just use streaming as that platform, right? So now they're able to, if you got a linebacker, we can concentrate on that linebacker and we can send that tape to that linebacker to those universities. But we do one better, because we find out if they academically qualify for that school, right? Because a lot of times they could be recruiting a kid for years and then come to find out that kid can't even academically qualify for it. Right. So we kind of reversed it. And we also use it for goal setting. So if a kid's a freshman or a sophomore and he's at a 2.3, right, we know for the school that you need to get into, you need a 3.0. Okay. So we use it for goal setting. But now we take this whole package and we can send this package all across the country and let these schools and let these coaches know that these kids exist. Because a lot of times they won't even know a kid that's there exists. So we're giving them their own platform so they can do that. And that's what Network Utopia is all about.
Awesome. So what about, another aspect of dealing with youth today?
Okay.
Social media.
Yes.
How do you talk to them about social media, their footprint there, their interaction there, and the impact it could make on their future?
Most definitely. And that has been a big problem as we're going through. So now we have social media classes, we have interview classes. So we teach them those different things and how to prepare themselves for what the do's and don'ts of social media. Don't be at a party with a red cup and somebody's sees you with that. That could cost you a scholarship, right? So understanding and giving the rules and regulations, but we have classes and different things, not on just on that part of it too, but finance classes to teach you when you make money, what to do, how to open a bank account, how to do these different things in life, right? We try to wrap around sports in life lessons, right? teaching those kids, and also teaching the parents what this thing we call scholarship literacy, right? Teach you what your FAFSA is, how to fill out an application, how to do these different things, where they only run into these things in the senior year, then it's too late. If we can get the kids in junior high and teach them scholarship literacy, we can change those numbers and make a real difference in these communities.
Love it. And how have you been doing this for over 30 years?
Yeah.
How has your first decade in this business been different from your last decade in this business when it comes to dealing with youth in general?
Yeah. Well, just dealing with them. But one thing about kids have a wall. And once they know you care about them and you put different provisions in place where they show that they care, that wall comes down and you're able to reach them. And, and not only just reach them, reach the families, reach the parents, do everything. It takes a village. And that's a really true statement as we go through this. And that's what Network Utopia wants to be. We want to be that village that kind of helps you bridge all these gaps and see if we can change these numbers. One of the things I'm most proud of is I'm on my 8th kid at Harvard. I got my 8th kid will be attending Harvard next year that I've helped along the way because of my relationship with Harvard University, right? But look at the difference we make of having these kids walking out of Harvard with no student loans, with a Harvard degree in their pocket, going off in life and doing some great things. And basketball and sports may have been wrapped around it, but we're really teaching life lessons.
Right. Oh, I love it. So the parents, you brought that up, and I'd already made myself a note to ask about that, because being a former coach, director, VP, and president, I trust me, the kids I can handle.
Yeah.
The kids didn't drive me out the business.
Right. Exactly.
The parents, how do you get buy-in? Right, is a good term.
Great term.
Right.
Yeah.
And stay out of it.
Well, one
to
thing,
a certain extent, right? You need their involvement. I get
we
that.
have to have their involvement, right?
But you need them to be involved, but stay out of it.
Yeah. Well,
to a certain extent, right?
It's so funny. I developed this little system, and we did contracts with the kids, and we did contracts with the parents.
Okay.
Right. These are the rules and the regulations, right? I don't need your help. If I do, I'm gonna raise my hand. but also a contract with the kids, so they understand that's what it's gonna be. What a scholarship is, you're signing a contract, right? And the parents also, getting the parents to understand that you can't be yelling and screaming at the refs in the stands and there's a scout there. What do you think of the odds that they're gonna take your kid to college if you don't behave a certain way or do a certain thing? So we got to have those parenting classes, right, and get them to understand and get them to buy in just like everybody else. But it really comes back to that village mentality, and the parents see that you really care. When the parents see that you really care for their kid, it kind of falls in line. We're always going to get those one or two that's going to be difficult than the rest, and I've been through it all, right? I've been to state finals, CIF finals, all kinds of stuff in California, and now venturing here to Vegas. And I'm still training kids and talking to parents and doing these different things and helping them understand what's the best way and make them understand what scholarship literacy is about, and what the future could be for their kids.
Right. Love it. So let me ask you this, in terms of when you meet with these kids, are you meeting with these kids on an individual basis, or do you meet with them once you have a group of kids to basically cover the same information, like in some of your, financial conversations or things of that nature? Is it a group or individual setting that you?
It's a little of both,
okay.
Right? It starts off in a group setting, and then after the group setting, we want to go one-on-one with the parents just so to make them feel comfortable about being in our program or being on our streaming service and understand what the big picture really is. And once they understand what the big picture is and what the kids understand what the big picture is, we can make a really big difference. And we can help other organizations, other travel programs or football programs and different things to come in, and we can put a guideline in place. I don't think they had the guideline in place that everybody's just kind of riding off the seat of their pants. But if we put a guideline in place and make everybody follow those rules, and we got success from those rules, I think that's where we really make the difference.
Yeah, I love it because you say guidelines, and if you really understand that word,
Right.
and you have the spirit of that word,
Yes.
it's guidelines. It means that there may be situations,
right,
to where we need to operate outside of these guidelines.
Yes.
But this is our template.
Yeah. This is our template.
Operate off, and as long as everything being equal,
yeah,
but this is how we're gonna rock.
Right.
But
exactly.
I'm not gonna take out of your hands the ability to think.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we need that.
We do.
The ability
We do.
to think. Some people cannot think. And if it's not in black and white,
Right.
they're not moving on it.
Right. You're very true, but it takes a lot of, it again goes back to that village mentality of us really coming together with everybody and getting them to understand what's the big picture of it all, right? Our whole thing is we don't want student loans chasing all our kids for the first 20 years of their lives, right? That's the big part that we're really trying to get everybody to understand. And those dollars and cents really make a big difference when we teach you this is what we're really trying to do. Right. And it really makes a big difference overall.
Right. And what that does is allow you to close the gap
Yes.
between some other communities who had a better start anyway.
Yes. Very true.
You understand what I'm saying? That, hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. Sometimes our community don't want to hear certain things.
Right.
But you need to hear it.
You do.
Okay. And there's got to be you got to get creative, and there's got to be some ways that we got to close the gap. We can't go back 100 years.
Right.
We can't go back 150 years, 200 years and start telling people, get some life insurance.
Right.
And do this. It's over now.
It's over now. Yes.
But we still got to have a gap that needs to be closed.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we do. I think information is the key to knowledge, right? The more information we can give them, the more knowledgeable they become on it. And they're smart people, right? And it's just common sense. And we know everybody don't get that common sense, right?
It ain't so common.
It ain't so common. But if we could at least put the guidelines, we go back and we put the guidelines, we put the different things together and they understand everybody, the kids and the parents have a wall up when you start. You know that. And
what are you trying to get from me?
Yeah, what are you trying to get from me? Are you trying to get money or whatever? But once they see that you really truly care, that wall comes down.
Yeah.
And we can affect more change that way. And we've had a great success doing that. But in video and the age that we're in, that makes a big difference too. We used to tell people about this, and me and you both know people just don't read like they used to.
No,
right? They want to see it. They got their phones and the different things. So we had to make our software and we had to make all our videos adaptable to that phone that they're going to have in their hands for 90% of the time, right? And so doing those different things and then being able to see it and then constructing a very solid website that makes it very user-friendly, it's not confusing, that makes all the difference in the world for us to reach these parents and these kids.
Yeah, one of the things I like, I've heard you talk about that word, that term, care, time and time again. And I always tell people, the thing that you hear me repeat is the thing you can take to the bank.
Yes.
If you hear me say something over and over again, in unrelated conversations over a period of time, that's coming from here.
It is.
You understand what I'm saying? So I like that. And there's a saying about that says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
As simple as that. And we're talking about athletics here, right?
Yes.
And we're here at the Super Bowl again, the reset in Las Vegas, Nevada, here on Radio Row. And I got to tell you that from an athletic standpoint, caring and how much an individual cares is ultra important. In fact, one of the teams that is in the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs, the reason why they are successful, in my humble opinion, is because of how much they love Andy Reid.
Yes.
Because they have no doubt that he cares.
Right.
I'm a Cowboy fan, and I promise you right now, if we were to interview the team candidly, anonymously, I bet you 50% of the team don't care too much for Mike McCarthy.
Right. Right.
And the reason why I would say that is because they probably don't. And I'm gonna tell you this is a hot sports opinion.
Most definitely.
Dak Prescott, number one. I saw some body language early on in that relationship that I said he don't like that dude.
Right.
Dak don't like Mike McCarthy.
Right.
And see, I'm gonna tell you something else. We can read our community and our people a little bit better than some other
most
folks,
definitely
and
can.
we know what not looking like somebody look like without even talking to that individual.
Yes,
there's
indeed.
a facial expression, there's a body language, there's a and so again, caring at your core when you're in a leadership position or you're doing somewhere you're trying to either start a business, run a business, coach youth, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
If you can't convey a genuine attitude of caring,
right,
you're wasting your time.
And it really comes down to this really small but big word called culture. It's about culture.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yes,
and you
100.
can see good culture from bad cultures when you watch certain teams and how that culture of that team, how they conduct themselves in warm-ups, how they conduct themselves in the locker room, out of the locker room. How do you handle a player? And it's not always yelling and screaming to me. Right. It's about teaching.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. If a kid tied his shoe good, I would made a big deal of that.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to build his confidence.
Right.
Because sports is 90% confidence, 10% skill.
Agreed.
Right. Agreed. And if you have the right culture, like they have on Kansas City and they have in San Francisco, you can tell the culture that everybody's coming together and I've been on regular teams, but I've been on championship teams. Right. Championship teams, you're like a family. When that person goes yin, you know when to go yang. Right. And like you're saying, you can almost see the offense and the defense in certain teams as a disconnect. But you can see when that comes together and when that leadership comes together, it's amazing the things that you can accomplish.
Right. Agreed. So just a couple of more questions.
Sure.
I appreciate your time and stopping by and whatnot. Yeah. Nowadays you have to really operate. We know we're on camera right now.
Yes, most definitely.
But it's a bunch of people walking around here who ain't thinking about the fact that you're on camera too.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you talk to your, the youth about that, saying you really got to live your life like you're always on camera?
Most definitely. I mean, you hit a very good point, right? And coming up, we used to have interview classes, right? And teaching the youth, you don't say and you know, right? You talking phrases. You talking sentences and syllables. Right. And you not in syllables, but in paragraphs and sentences. Right. So that you can convey yourself a certain way or handle yourself a certain way on and off the field. That makes such a big difference. And that comes back to classes and teaching the kids and making sure you're correcting the kids. Right. And understanding that you're always on camera. Right. Especially in this day and time. When we turn that stream on, we're streaming live, right? Understand what that live stream means, right? And a lot of stuff we can fix once it's over, that we can go and post and take this out. But understand it's live and always practice kind of like you play, right? If you're not practicing well, you're not going to play well. But understanding those different things, but teaching those kids those skill sets and teaching those different skill sets. And it makes a big difference, especially in the age of social media.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because I'm telling you right now, a good recruiter is of course they're paying attention to how you perform on the field.
Right.
But a good recruiter they're paying just as much attention, if not more, to how you are operating when the cameras are not on.
Right.
Or when you think they're not on. They're paying attention to that B-roll, if we're going to use an industry term, right?
Yeah,
they're paying attention to that because it gives you more of an indication of what your character is.
It is.
It's what you do when you think no one is watching.
Right.
So that character, especially for certain teams, you're talking about being a good fit for an institution. Well, some coaching staffs and some athletic directors place a high premium on character.
Yeah, most definitely.
More than skill, because they believe that character is going to translate to the field.
Yeah.
And when you go through adversity, you're going to have to call on that character. So again, what you do when you're not being watched, or you think you're not being watched, speaks to your character, and that'll have a big impact on how you are recruited.
It does. It makes a tremendous difference. I think I've gotten more kids into college on their interviews than their video. Right? Just because they saw you in an interview, you were prepared. I did a big HBCU jam, and we did it at Canyon Springs here in Las Vegas. And one of the girls on that team, she was 6'2". And so we started talking. So I did a mock interview with her. She said, well, what do I say? What do I do? I said, well, your parents are here. Thank your parents. Thank your coaches, right? And thank your teammates. That's be the best way to go about it, right? And so we did a little mock interview, and she did that. Well, this girl ended up getting MVP of the tournament.
Love it.
Right? And what happened when we turned the cameras on after the game? First thing she jumped, I want to thank my parents. I want to thank my kids. I want to thank my teammates and different things. But just seeing that and seeing how that just propelled her. And now a college or university gets to see that same enthusiasm and even that really takes her to a whole nother level. And I know she's probably going to play in college and have a great career and different things like that. But just that time that we took with them just to teach them how to do an interview or to show that we really care about what happens, that makes the difference in the world. And that's what drives us at Network Utopia. That's what drives us every day to see how we can help that next generation evolve.
Right. Well, verbal communication skills and written communication skills are ultra important. And sometimes that is the difference between you and another athlete.
Yes.
Is how well you communicate it. And sometimes just a simple yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, will make the difference. Again, and I understand our community, some of them think that's kowtowing and step and fetching it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. You understand? But, because this is real life, but, we call it a game, right?
Sure.
Some people don't like to play the game the way, hey, that's the rules of the game. That's the rules of engagement.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so you can either stand on your pride over here, or you can meet me at Bank of America on the 1st and the 15th and high five me there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
and they do appreciate it after a while and look at it. I can think about all the different kids that I've coached over the years. I have one kid that I actually sent to Harvard. His name is Kenyatta Smith, and he is one of the top VPs at Netflix to this day. And he took his Harvard University thing. He didn't want to go pro, right? But he got to go to Harvard and get all the business accolades and do all this stuff, and it's helping him in his life today, right? And those are stories after stories after stories. And I just want to generate that same atmosphere and everything with Network Utopia and going around the schools and going around the country of opening up this thing called streaming and all these other aspects so we can really make a difference. So when it's all said and done, I want to be known as a guy who got as many kids in the college as I possibly could. Right.
I love it.
So that's always been my goal in this process, and having, venues like this and having opportunities to talk about it and other people to hear, maybe it can inspire somebody else or move somebody else to help us reach these goals.
Yeah, well, Mr. Stover, I'm going to tell you like this. I had this interview planned for about 15 minutes. We 10 minutes past that already. That ought to tell you whether I enjoyed it or not. So, and again, I'm intentionally calling you Mr. Stover. You understand what I'm saying? I know you can call me Craig. I get it.
Right.
But I'm calling you Mr. Stover for a reason,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And I want to tell us one more time about Network Utopia, where they can support you at, how they can get a hold of you.
You can go to Network Utopia, ENT Entertainment.com. You can go to our website. You can see all our programs. You can see everything there. And we're going to continue to do the different work that we do. And we're just happy to be here at the Super Bowl and happy to be here on Media Row and Radio Row, just to get our message out there as much as we possibly can. So I thank you for your time. I thank you guys for the platform, and I really appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate you. And hey, stay tuned to BS3 Network for our continuing coverage of Super Bowl 58 here in Las Vegas, Nevada, live from Radio Row. Again, all of the BS3 Network personalities will be available. We have the founder and CEO, Ben Suttereth III. He's the gentleman who put the BS in BS3 Network. Myself, King Doc, his business partner, Courtney Hart with The Real Deal Sports. And like I said, we will continue to bring you some fantastic interviews and content throughout the week. Again, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more interviews.